All right, guys, another special episode of Overshot. Again, thank you guys all for subscribing, writing us the reviews and stuff like that. And also, definitely go over to Dizana Sports, makers of the Grind Air gloves, the SF joggers. We're actually going to be coming out with some new Overshot specific joggers. So you're going to see those on the website soon enough. Just tweaking some details on those. Remember to use Overshot for 10% off. And see, you guys have been ordering, so it helps us, helps the show for us to get you some more content, some more giveaways, and things like that. So without further ado, we're going to have Dom Capito from the Covenant. Hopefully, I'm saying his last name right and everything like that, but they're coming off. They just played EPL Virginia down at Chesapeake. I think it's Chesapeake Sports Park, something like that. But again, Dom, thank you for coming in. And we're going to kind of start it off with that second place victory. I know you guys kind of drove a long while down to get there. I don't know, like 7-8 hours. But tell us what made you guys make that trip, and walk us through the event.
So basically, I was on Facebook and I saw the posts for the event, and I saw that they had the Tim Montressor layout, and we had just played the EPL event. Well, my team had just played the EPL event like 2 weeks before that, and they had made their own layout for that. So I was just confused by that, and I had posted that in my team group on Facebook, and one of my teammates was like, "Why don't we play that event?" So I was like, all right, you could have one D4. I'm ranked D4. There wasn't enough teams for a D4 event, so it was going to be D5 only anyway. So I asked my D5 guys. A couple of them were down. We had about 7 at first, and then like 2 dropped out. So we ended up going with 5 only. But, we made it work. We left around like, I think 3 o'clock on Saturday, 3 or 4. We ended up getting there at like 12 or 1 o'clock at night. Yeah, it was really late night. And then we woke up at like 4:35 that morning, and we just hit the field. We set up and played. It was a great event, though. It ran very well. CSP ran the whole event very efficiently, the EPL guys. Shout out to them. Refs were super fair. And, we grinded all day. We had 5 dudes, so it was basically we had to work with what the chemistry we had, which was basically built off one practice at a High-Vi the weekend before. Thank God we had huge shout out to Andrew Smith, because we had him coaching us the weekend before. He basically broke down the whole layout for us, and I think without him we wouldn't have had the success that we had, to be honest with you. Because without him, we wouldn't have had any game plans, really. He really broke down the field for us and gave us most of our breakouts, the lanes to shoot, where to run, where to lane when you got to your bunker, basically. So if we went in blind, it would have been a totally different event, probably.
Absolutely, man. I know Smith's been around the game for a long time and everything like that. So I know, how many teams did that event end up happening? I know you guys get second. Who'd you guys end up playing in finals?
It was 10 teams, and we ended up playing the home team. It was NRG Elite Next Gen. So it was a lot of their younger guys mixed in with some of their older guys. Couple of seasoned players. They had one D4 as well, and they had a bigger roster than us. I think they had like 7 guys, but they played really well. They had some young kids on that team, and they definitely had the best of us in the finals for sure.
Cool, man. So, like, what was your guys' game plan on that, like, layout, and how did that all break out? Because I had one practice on that Tim layout, and I would left that practice so confused. Like, I could not play my spot. I didn't know, like, I couldn't figure out how the field was breaking down. Like, so what was your guys' like breakouts like?
For me, because usually I play in the snake or like the snake corner, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that on this layout at all for whatever reason. So I ended up actually just playing the 50, the center 50. Most part, I would just take that off break, that big the brick basically.
Right.
And then I would just play zone control on the snake side. I'd try to like isolate the snake corner, make sure he didn't get into the one spot. And then from there, if I took out the whole snake side, or if we had cleared the snake side, I'd usually just go and throw my body at whoever else was playing either my mirror or the home, pretty much. We did that almost the whole day. We switched it up a little bit, but that was like the main game plan. I would take the center, and then I'd have either one body on my snake side with me, or we'd double up the center and then have two on the D side. But we pretty much played like a center heavy play all day.
Yeah, those are the plays I saw winning on that field, like in practice even too, like heavy center plays.
Yeah, that worked the best for us. There were some points where it depended on the team we played, because some teams were more snake heavy. So if I couldn't really like isolate them early by myself and they took over the snake side, it was tough for us. So we had to it's only race to 2. So if we lost the first point because of that, we'd have to like kind of backtrack and think, all right, how are we going to do this? And then maybe I would play the snake the next point, and that would kind of throw off our center play. So, it was tough with 5 guys, but it was also good at the same time because we just kept running the same people. We had the chemistry there. But when you're playing like a real organization like Energy Next Gen, like they had a coach, they were watching us all day. Their lanes were serious on us, and they pretty much knew what we were doing. They had people studying us all day essentially. So, it definitely helps when you have that type of stuff. But we knew we were going to be down on things like that. Like we had no pit, no coach, nothing. So, can't complain with what happened basically,
Yeah, that's tough. A coach is like so important. Like all those little things. Yeah, like I said, scouting you guys, and when you're only go with 5, like you said, you could switch up the plan a little bit, but for the most part, like the opposing coach is going to know what you guys are going to do.
Yeah, and it's tough when it's a D5 event. I have guys that aren't even ranked on my line. Mm-hmm. They pretty much have their set positions. They haven't broken out of that. Oh, I could play anywhere yet. You know what I'm saying? So. Right. It's like you just said, it's so hard to really switch up as much as you want when not everybody's able to fill a position equally as efficiently, I guess you could say.
Right. So like, yeah, like say a guy's having a rough time in a spot, you really can't sub somebody else then, because that guy might not necessarily be able to play your spot and vice versa and whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. That's pretty much what it came down to. So you could only show a team so many different hands with 5 people. Mm-hmm. So.
No, but you guys obviously did well. You took second place. So, like, how did the prelims go for you guys? Did you drop a couple games? Like, were you a team that like just skated into the semis and then like put your foot down? Like, how did the tournament kind of break down?
So for the prelims, the first game we went 2-0. It was pretty quick. We played, I think it was Alliance Gamma. That was their second line, the Alliance organization. The second game, I believe we played. I'm not sure who the name was. It might have been Hostility. We took them out 2-0 as well. And then we played this team called Venom. We took them out 2-0 as well. So we were 6-0, like 3-0 for the prelims. And
yeah,
then
so you were smooth sailing.
Yeah. So, but we wanted to play for that 4th because we thought we were playing for a bye. We thought we were playing for a bye through for the quarterfinals. But only the top 4 ended up going on anyway. But we didn't know that. And the last game of the prelims was against NRG Next Gen, and they actually beat us. It was 2-1.
Close.
But it came down to one of those like crucial points where we just needed one of our bodies to stay alive, and he ended up making a move that got himself killed, and it kind of gave them the whole snake side. So we lost. We ended up losing that point, and it jumbled like the seeding. So who we played in the in the semifinals was different. So that could have changed the outcome, but I don't really think it would have changed anything, long term.
Yeah, right. Like I said, they had a lot of things in their favor. They had a nice coach, a nice pit system. Like I said, they were able to rotate players. So I think that's super important because I think being fresh, especially in the finals, is super important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that being said, Dom, before that, I know normally these aren't your guys, the D4 guys. I know Covenant's running 2 lines. I know kind of bringing it back, to your start. Maybe you're not your starting Paintball because I know you've been around a bit, but kind of your competitive.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Yeah, he's freezing. So I guess what he's trying to ask is like how maybe you got your start on like competitive paintball. Like,
oh, okay.
How did you like see a tournament first? Was it like on the internet or was it like next to a rec field?
To be honest with you, so I've always I've followed.
So last year you guys were
Sorry. We good?
I don't know. I think he's trying to talk.
Yeah, he's like lagging out over there.
He's like really bad on my thing too.
Yeah, but basically, I've been playing paintball on and off since I was like 10 years old. But I never really had the money or the rides to get to the fields to get onto a team and actually practice and play events. So I'd play rec ball growing up whenever I could because I live in Queens. So any field was really like an hour out from me. So it was pretty tough to get out before I could drive. And it was
Right.
also just expensive as a kid, you know. So coming back now, I think it was like the end of 2018, like November 2018, I got back into the sport like full time. And I was like, you know, just play at high velocity and see what happens. And at some point in December going into January, Edwin actually hit me up to try out for Covenant. And then from there on, I tried out. I made it onto the team. And I played my first event with them in the April of 2019, which was EPL Garden State Open in Top Gun in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up playing really well that day. We went 4-0 through the prelims, and we ended up taking second place at that event as well. We lost 2-1 in the finals again to, I think it was the Trenton Squeezers, a group of pretty seasoned guys. They're good dudes. But that was my first tournament, like first official tournament. I played one Young Guns event at high velocity back in the day when I was like 13 years old.
Yeah, little three
And
man.
yeah, I took third place. We took third place at that event. But my first ranked event was that Division 5 EPL event last year.
No, that's sick. And you guys did well. Like, I don't know if we covered it on Evan's episode, but you guys were the season champs at EPL last year.
Yeah, we were the North Conference champions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I know you kind of said like you met Edwin, but how did you meet Edwin? Was it like on the internet? Or, like, how did you find that like Covenant was doing tryouts?
So actually, I think Edwin was asking James and Smith if he knew people that were looking for teams. And it just happened to be in the first few months that I was getting back into it. And I didn't even mention to Smith or James that I was looking to play on a team. I was just coming every Saturday or Sunday and playing. So I guess he had mentioned it to Edwin, and then Edwin reached out to me on Facebook and was like, listen, if you're interested, tryouts on this day, let me know. And, you know, the rest is history from there.
Yeah, right. All right, Waldo, you're back. You want to ask your question?
Gotcha, man. Yeah, sorry about that. A little technical difficulties. So I know you guys were just talking real quick about, you know, how you got on the Covenant and Edwin and the whole 9 yards and everything like that.
Yeah.
So kind of going into it, you know, since you did have a lot of success last season doing the D5 EPL, what is the big thing, the big difference that you see, and maybe why the reason? Because you guys didn't do too hot, you know, so far in D4, your first event. I think you guys got like 18th or something like that. Next event, you guys made it out of prelims. But what do you think that big gap was? Do you think it was you guys had too much early success, or you kind of just went with what you went with and D4 kind of hit you in the face? Or, I mean, what is the major reason people not hungry as much? I mean, what do you think is the big thing, you know, teams can take away, you know, making that jump from D5 to D4?
To be honest with you, not being able to practice consistently every weekend really messed us up going into the first event in June. We were practicing every Sunday for the last year and a half, and our chemistry was on point. Our communication was on point. Like, you could ask anybody on our team. None of us we're not the best at anything, but when we all play together, we're really good. And when we didn't get to practice together those 3 months, when everyone took that break for, you know, the coronavirus and everything, it totally threw everything off, because that next month, when we were just jumbling to practice, we couldn't get everyone to practice every weekend, which was the toughest thing. So I would say the number one thing for a D5 team looking to jump into D4 is just make sure everybody stays consistent. That's like the number one thing. Keep practicing every weekend. Challenge yourself. Look for better teams to play. If your home field doesn't challenge you, look for another field to play at. You know, that's what we're learning now. We can't stay at the same place every weekend. We have to move and continue to practice, and that's really what hindered us that first EPL event. We just weren't prepared that way. We got a lot of stupid penalties, and we just weren't playing as a unit, really. But we turned it around the second event, because there was I think it was 26 teams. We took 6th place. And I didn't make that event. I was the one that got sick the morning of. I ended up in urgent care, so I wasn't even able to make the event. And we were missing Ian Eckert as well, so we were missing, two key players. So, and they still took sixth place without us. So that was with a month of consistent practice as well. So.
No, I mean, that's awesome, man. You need your whole team, and kind of echoing what you were saying about staying consistent with the practices, and everything like that. I know, you guys are kind of a new team on the block and everything like that. So, doing those early success, I think it was more, because I would see, probably some of the guys that were working the hardest in that time span, as far as a no bullshit approach, trying to get things done. I'm not saying people were slacking off, this season more than last season or anything like that. But like you said, the whole COVID thing, threw a wrench in for everybody, unfortunately. But it seems like you guys are getting back on the ball. I know I just, I saw your guys on a rainy practice, this past weekend. So I know the next event for you guys coming up is the EPL at OTP.
Yeah, the 30th. Yeah.
The 30th for you guys as well. So, all right. Yeah. I mean, are you going to be playing with the D5 guys again, or are you sticking back to the D4 guys?
That was a
one-time deal.
Yeah, that was a one-time thing. I'm to D4 committed for sure. D5, that was the one thing, that event, it was kind of not that it was boring. It still had me on my toes. It just felt unfair at times, gun battling with some of these guys and stuff. I was always one to be upset when people would sandbag, and then just to do it was like, it is, one-time thing for sure.
I've seen a lot worse sandbagging. One D4 player is allowed. I've seen some crazy shit.
Yeah. I mean, there was, if you went through the EPL, you saw some people were getting their leagues reclassed and stuff, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man. I mean,
it is
I heard the event before the field owner played the event, and that's why D4 was canceled. So because nobody signed up.
The whole thing, when you went on the APPA, there was like 10 teams for the D4, and then when it came up down to paying, nobody paid. So they just they closed it. There was like three NRG lines signed up, and that was it. So they just closed it.
That's funny.
So with that being said, I mean, you guys playing the EPL and everything like that. We've had Edwin on in the past and things like that, and I've spoke to him a couple of times. I bringing up the D5 line, having the D4 line. I think the plan is to eventually merge those two lines and play X ball. Is that something that where do you want to take this thing in paintball? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go? You want to go pro? You want to play D3X ball? I mean, what's your goals in all of this?
I mean, if I could go pro, I'd love to go pro. I'm fully committed to the sport. I try to get out at least once a week. I drive from Queens, so I'd like to get out Fridays and Sundays. I know we're doing the street balls at Cousin now. Like, I'd love to do that, but it's tough for me. I try to get out once a week and get as much practice in as possible, because I do ultimately would love to go pro. I know it's tough, but that is definitely the goal. I don't know if that's everybody's goal on the team, but we all are looking forward to X-Ball. I know for sure that's one goal we all have in common. We want to dominate at least the East Coast in X-Ball, whether it be Division 4 or Division 3. And I think you'll see us in, if not just TSXL, but OPS next season as well.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. The OPS is a good event. They do they have some good stuff, and TSXL is a good, awesome event too, man. 2 events so far this year. They're going strong.
Yeah.
Walter, you said you have 12 D4 teams, right?
12 D4 teams for this weekend, and then we actually just picked up. They had a 7-man the other week, and they had a live stream, so there will be a live stream. Just talked to the guy a couple minutes ago, actually. So right before this, we hammered out the details to have a live stream. So yeah, man, we're gonna be around. You know what I mean? We're not going nowhere. We're looking to do it bigger and better.
That's awesome.
Jim has 2 fields now, so if it could be something, hopefully we have 20 D4 teams next year. You know what I mean? We might add 5-man, we might add 3-man, but kind of going back to this Dom show, we'll let him talk. But. Man, that's awesome that you guys are looking at, do Expo. Like you said, I didn't even know you were all the way in Queens, dude. I hadn't probably seen you a million times. I had no idea you were coming out. all the way out here to Cousins and everything like that. Yeah, we're doing the Friday street ball thing and stuff like that. But I mean, for you to probably come after work, hit the traffic and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot, man. Paintball's a lot. It's grueling and everything like that. So you were coming out, now from Queens all the way out here or to High Buy or anything like that. So before you came back, I mean, when did you first get into paintball? Like, what was that about?
So when I was like 10, 11 years old, I got invited to one of my first birthday parties, and it was at High Velocity. And like one of my first memories was meeting Smith and James and them like, explaining everything to us. And I had already watched, the old HK Army videos prior to going. So I had some gist of what was going on, or at least I thought I did. And I got out there and I had a blast, and from there on, whatever little money I could save, I saved until I was like 12 years old. And then I finally bought like my first setup and like my jersey, my pants, like, the first noob card on A&S gear. Like I finally was able to do that. I think I was like 12 years old. Finally it was like a Dangerous Power G4, like OG Prophecy, like all that stuff, Diaphors, like, that to me, that's original stuff to me. Cause I'm young still. So like, that's what I remember. And like the GO2 was just coming out at the time, and I really wanted one of those. I couldn't afford it. The Ego 11 was coming out, like stuff like that. And but I never really got to play tournaments back then because I've always lived in Queens. And my mom, I would ask her whenever she was in a good mood, see if she'd take me out on a Sunday, and I'd get to play maybe once a month with whatever money I'd saved during that month. And that went on until I was able to work when I was like 14, 15 years old. Then it became whenever I can get a ride, at least I had the money to play. But I still couldn't commit to a team, on and off until basically, 2 years ago. Like I was telling Travis that I couldn't really commit to a team until now because I'm fully financially stable, have a car and everything. And I'm able to get out every weekend and practice. So I didn't want to waste anyone's time growing up, basically. So I didn't even bother.
Yeah,
Gotcha, man.
Tough when it
Now,
comes
do you
to
plan to play?
side.
Sorry, man. If I'm,
No,
I'm
go.
talking on top of you. Now, have you ever looked into playing any other type of events? I don't know if you've played any scenario games, mechanical tournaments, or anything like that. Are you strictly a speedball guy? Are you looking to venture out into other things?
Well,
or
I actually I am technically on Ground Zero EGP. We were supposed to play ICC, but rest in peace, Tim Montresor. Hopefully that happens next season. I'm not
I
really
was
sure
so
what's
bummed
going
about
on.
that. I was
Yeah,
so
it
bummed.
was upsetting. That was supposed to be my first taste of real mech. I never really played beforehand, but I've always been interested. Wes, shout out to Wes. He really like put me on and really like pushed me to like want to play it, and he put me on the roster and everything. But nothing really worked out, and it's really unfortunate what happened. And hopefully next season's different. But I'm probably putting down mech until then, and I'll start practicing towards that time again.
Yeah, mech is probably done for this season anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
we really need to focus as a team. And like I was gonna have to take off of team practices to go practice at Top Gun with them, and it was gonna be tough. I'd rather just like hunker down with the Covenant right now, really grow, and then focus on that when I have more time.
Yeah, dude, I don't blame you. Because like I said, like we were 24K was talking. Was it Friday? No, it was Saturday at the charity event, and we were saying the same things that like, we all really want to go to Chicago, but with this whole COVID thing, like none of us can afford to quarantine for 2 weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
So none of us can fly. We thought around like renting a bus, trying to drive and like circumvent quarantine.
That was the tough thing with Virginia too, because we had to figure out how we were gonna get there, only stay there for like under 24 hours, and then get back out of there. So that's why we ended up having to drive up so late, get like no sleep, and then just play through it.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy time right now.
Yeah,
I don't even know if Virginia's like that. Like I have no idea.
Yeah, it's most of the East Coast is still red, and that was full blown red state.
Yeah. So traveling to play anything is going to be super tough.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, because like we did an event up in Massachusetts, dude, and that's what we all said. Like, yeah, bro. Realistically, we should have quarantined for 2 weeks coming home, but like, bro, I can't afford to miss 2 weeks worth of work, dude. Are you kidding me? I'm a paintball
hell
player.
no.
I have like fucking $43 in my checking account right now.
Yeah, you can't. It's impossible.
So hard. But so you have the other EPL going up this year. What else do you guys have on? Like, is the Covenant just focusing on the EPLs, or is there something else you guys maybe have your sights on?
Right now, it's just the EPLs. We're preparing for OPS, TSXL. You know, like the local X Ball events next season. Because well, before all this COVID stuff happened, we were coming off. We had won an unranked D4 event at LLP, and then
Okay.
we won an unranked D4 event at Apocalypse in like southern New Jersey, and that was our first. Yeah. That was our first
Smurf
X
turf.
Ball event. Yeah, the blue turf. Yep. That was our first X Ball event, and there were some serious teams playing that. So that really showed us that, you know, we can compete. We just got to be on our shit. You know, we really got to practice and be on point. And we all just played as a unit that day, and we were pretty unstoppable, honestly.
No, it's awesome that you guys do that, because like I see some people where like they play a team that's like a little bit better than them, and instead of using it as like fuel for them to like get better, they're like, oh well, fuck it, that team's better than me, I might as well fucking quit now. And it's like,
yeah, no, you can't,
that is
especially in the tournament.
the worst attitude I've ever heard in my life.
It's the worst. And to be honest with you, you'll get the upper hand on a lot of teams just by playing them with confidence, because they'll expect you to cower towards them. If you give them like the full balls to the walls, like hit 50 off break, they might not even expect it, you know? So dude, that's how we try to play everybody with the same respect. We don't really care who we're playing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, dude. And
you know, we were like, we never
sorry,
played. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, you go.
No, I was just saying, like, we'll get on the field against anyone. Like 2 weeks ago, we were at High Velocity and we were practicing for the EPL event, and the Brooklyn Bears were there practicing for the 7-man event. They were like, "Do you guys want to run us in 7-man?" And we were like, "Fuck it, let's just get scraped. Like, why the fuck not? This will be great." It was like Robbie, Altimore, and all them, and you know, it really worked out for us because it, you know, we were trying to work something out with Robbie for a clinic. And he hadn't really known who we were. So to see us walking on the field against him, I think it showed him, these dudes are serious. Like, they really want to, you know, grow. And he came out with us. You'd be
surprised how many people are like afraid to even touch the start box when they see dudes like that out there.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, but like, and now he came this Sunday and he did a little clinic with us, and it was so beneficial for our team. So, you know.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I heard he was there. Yeah. So how long did you guys get to play? Because it rained, right?
So I didn't make it, but they were there from 9 a.m. to like, I think like 1:32. The rain was on and off. They said it wasn't too bad. It was actually oh, you were there. So there you go.
Yeah, I was there, man. It wasn't the most, you know, fun thing to do, man. But you know, your guys were there. Your guys were champing it out. I had a couple of the kids there from you know, my D5 line that I'm kind of starting up, helping out these kids. You know,
they're playing the EPL, right?
Yeah, they're playing the EPL. This kid Carter, this kid
cool.
Jacob that works there, cousins. You know, little
they're
Tim Doyle.
They're good kids.
Man, they're good kids. You know, Carter's got a mouth on him. But going back to what you were saying, though,
that's why he's your student, bro. He learned from you.
Yeah, man, he's got to curb that mouth. You know what I mean? I told him, I'm like, dude, you know, I've learned enough being in this for a while, dude. Sometimes you got to curb that mouth. More so about like, you know, like, I don't know, whatever. He was shit talking the shit out of like Covenant the one day, and I'm like, listen, dude. I'm like, I'm not saying some of the things you're saying aren't right, but I'm like, Edwin's a awesome dude. Like, they're awesome dudes. Like, they're trying to get it just as much as you are. Like, just chill out a bit. Chill out a bit. Like, don't stop smack talking, but chill a little bit, bro. But yeah, man, Robbie's a good dude. Your dudes are out there grinding hard in the rain, taking everything, you know. And I'll even tell you this, dude. If your D5 team doesn't win this event, then they fucked up big time, bro, because they're looking real good.
They're fucking solid.
They're not winning the event because we're winning the event. What are you talking about? Overshot Factory's winning the EPL D5.
Bro, I'm telling you, but they should still be mad if they don't. I'm not telling you we're not going to win the event. What I'm trying to tell you is they should be mad if they don't win the event, too.
They've been smacking us up at practice for the last month. They should be ready.
Oh, hell yeah, iron sharpens iron.
Yep, that's for sure. Going back to that Virginia event, though, it was really hot, too. Like, it wasn't, like, hot, like, on like the charts. Like it was in the mid 80s, but the humidity was 100%. So it was a brutal day, honestly.
Yeah, man, the heat can really get to you. That's what I was saying. It probably hurt you guys only going with 5 because, like, no matter if you say, like, oh, I don't get tired, I'm in great shape. After you've been balling all throughout the prelims and it's the finals, you're not as fresh as you were that first point.
We were gassed out going into the finals. Like, getting to the
Yeah.
finals was our finals. You know what I mean? Like, and then it was just no gas for the rest of it. Like, one of our dudes he was like falling when we'd come off the field, and we were just pouring like water on him like a dead fish, trying to revive him. Like, it was bad at one point, but you know, we got through it. And I don't know, like we were happy with second. You can't really expect much more going 7 hours, no sleep, and then just, you know, playing all day. So
nah, bro, it's tough. I say this all the time. I'm sure people are sick of hearing it, but to win a paintball event is so hard. Like I said, so many things have to go right, and like a couple little things go wrong, and then you're second place. Even
in D5, you could have like your dream roster that you want. You get the wrong penalty or you get shot off the break or something, you totally, you know, it's a totally different game. I've seen it happen a bunch of times.
Bro, it happens all the time. We did the charity 3-man event the other weekend, and my brother and I, on 2 separate points, threw away points just for being fucking stupid.
We lost one game to Covenant.
One long game to Covenant. I forget the kid's name, but like I lost him playing that stupid squares map, and I thought he was at this one spot, and he wasn't. And he fucking shot my brother and I because we thought he was there. And we were like, how did we fuck that up so hard? This was a 2-on-1. I should just
shout out to Gino.
Is that was Gino?
Sneaky bastard.
Yeah, I didn't see him dip out of the tower. And I'm screaming, tower only, tower only, tower only. Next thing I go, I get shot in the face from the corner.
Yeah, Gino will make a move on you. He's been playing forever too.
Yeah, but back what I was saying is like a little mistake like that. And well, I mean, do you remember the points, Waldo? I didn't look, but if we would have won 2 more games, we probably would have played for 4th, right?
You would have been in the. You guys blew it hard, dude.
I know we blew it hard.
Your day. Wasn't your
day? We had the dirty
dude.
hang too. We had the dirty hang. But going back to what I was saying before, it just wasn't our day. I was gonna say this when Carter was saying is like the reason I don't shit talk anybody is because people have good and bad days, dude. There are some days I go on the box and I'm fucking shooting everybody, and then there are some days I go on the box and I can't even make it to my bunker alive.
Yep, it happens.
It's just the way it is, man.
Yeah, we go back and forth. Me and Wayne, we always go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
He'll shoot me one day, and it's like, oh, you suck, and then he'll get me the next day, and it's, you know, constant back and forth. It's fun though. It's like you said, you gotta shit talk though, because it keeps everybody motivated. As long as you can take it and you don't overdo it, you know, it's all fun and games at the end of the day.
Right,
motivate each other, you know.
At the end of the day, we're all trying to get the best out of each other. You know what I'm saying? Especially like, I don't know, like I know some of your guys, like we're never gonna get like angry at each other if it's just a little back and forth banter.
No, we've never. That's the number one thing, and you know, we try to like stay by it as much as we can. We don't argue, even when we lose. You know, take the losses humbly and just move on. You know, learn from it. We try to like
huge component of that. I think after points, if you argue, you might as well just quit the tournament, because if you're going to argue at the end of every point, you're never going to get any better. You're just going to fucking argue all the time.
Pointing fingers doesn't help, you know. Just readjust, you know, maybe make a line switch, you know, get some fresh bodies in, but don't start pointing fingers, you know. That doesn't help anybody.
No, you're taking down other people's confidence. And like, honestly, if you're a real man and you're a real dude, the biggest finger you should be pointing is at yourself. That's the way I am. Like, I'll never be like, dude, this is what you should have done. I'm always like, I should be better. I should have done this better. I should have made a better decision. I should have done whatever, you know?
Absolutely. And you know what? My way, the way I look at it is, if I did my job, I'm happy with myself. And I'm not really expecting, not that I'm not expecting other people to do their job, but if they're not able to produce, it's fine. You know, we'll get them the next point. You can't harp on stuff. It doesn't help anybody. You know, what happened happened at this point.
If you harp on him, you're just going to take his confidence down. Like, if you chastise him and rip him apart, what, you think he's going to go out there and play better? Like, he's probably not. He's probably going to be worse, and still that shit that is still going to be in his head.
Probably going to focus on that issue and make the same issue, or make the same mistake, if anything.
Or over focus on an issue and then totally misses something else, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it happen too, because people, they'll try to like overextend themselves because they made a mistake maybe the point before. And then they'll end up getting a penalty because they play on, you know, they want to like do as much as they can, and they end up like getting shot in the leg, and the ref sees them wiping it off. And so I've seen it, like, I've only played like maybe 7 or 8 events, and I've seen it happen 5-6 times. People trying to overcompensate for mistakes they made in points before, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, it happens.
People go flying down the field with like 4 or 5 hits on them, and you just cost your team the whole event. Nice job. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I watched a dude hang a flag, I think maybe 2 or 3 times dirty at the Apocalypse event, and he totally just blew his whole team's event. It was crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And he had bodies alive for other people to hang the flag. He'd run down, wouldn't check himself, and just run the flag in. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. No, dude, that happened to us at the 3-man. They were very lucky. I really didn't care because we had the same thing. We had a dirty hang with everybody alive, and I'm like, how the fuck is everybody alive when we have a dirty hang? Like, no one checked this guy. Like, come on.
It's the worst feeling.
Come on, guys, come on. But so wrapping, like, we've talked so much, so I want to just get like a little bit about maybe like talk about your sponsors and stuff like that before we get out of here. I want to give you the chance to kind of like plug all the people that have helped you, maybe someone who helped you when you were younger or something like that.
For sure. Yeah, so going back, of course, High Velocity has been like, they're one of our sponsors. They've been one of my number one supporters personally. Like I said, since I've grown up, James and Smith have been like almost like, I want to say, like older brothers to me. Like, they always looked out for me. They've like steered me in the right direction. They brought me to the Covenant. I wouldn't know these guys without them. So, you know, definitely a big shout out to them. Huge shout out to Steve at Cousins for always setting us up with the layouts and making sure we're ready to practice. You know, he was like the only place to play full size for the longest time on the island. So for him to like always have the field up ready for us and stuff and just always hook us up, I really appreciate him.
Yeah, Steve is my teammate. I fucking love Steve. Love Steve.
Steve's awesome. He always helps us out, you know, never any complaints with him. And then Virtue for the Spires, you know, gotta love the Spires. Bunker Kings, love their soft goods. I'm
a big Bunker King guy.
Yeah,
big Bunker King guy.
Yeah, I rock all their stuff. One of our newest sponsors is A Kinetic. Actually, they're like a real estate company. They do like real estate.
Nice.
They do like real estate management, but they do different things. They're definitely a great company, and they're super helpful for us as well.
Dude, that's sick. You have like an outside paintball sponsor though. Like, you really don't see that on a lot of teams.
Yeah, and you know, we're trying to collaborate with them in certain different ways. Because that company is all over the place. So his idea is to bring paintball to more of a recreational demographic and then bringing them into the sport. So he's offering his own type of stuff. But to get into that, I'd have to go into like a totally different episode, to be honest with you. But that's actually my teammate Nick. His company's really cool. So definitely gonna have to check them out. And other than that, we got JPL. I think Edwin touched up on them, the concrete.
Yeah.
And that's really it. You know, shout out to all of them. They all help us a lot with helping us out with like paint and admission costs and whatnot. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, we said it before, but paintball is fucking expensive.
Yeah, super expensive. So big shout out to them for helping us out. Try to bring them as much exposure as we can, of course.
All right, awesome, man. All right, I want to thank Dom so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. We'll definitely have to have you back, maybe after the EPL, and we'll do a little joint talk. I want to encourage everyone again to subscribe, rate, and review to our show. It really helps us. People have slacked off a little bit on the reviews on the podcast. If I'm going to do a little shill right now, and if you could please review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, it would mean the world to us. It helps us jump the ranks on the podcast, and that would be fucking really awesome for us to grow up, because we know it's that kind of got a little, it's not like going anywhere, you know, we're like always within like 10 or 50 ranks with the podcast, and we'd really like to see it go up. So if you guys could do that, that would be awesome. And one last time, go to DizanaSports.com to use code Overshot for 10% off your order. They got new joggers. We're gonna have Overshot joggers coming soon, so be sure to check all that out. And thank you for joining us, guys, and we'll catch you all soon.
Peace out, dudes.
Take care, guys.